Yeah, obviously another solid win. Good win for the team. Settled in. A little bit after probably the first 6 or 7 minutes, I thought we played pretty well. I thought they came out a little more aggressive than we were. Probably a little upset after their loss the other night, so we thought they would come out probably pretty fired up and excited to play this game, and probably a little more aggressive. I didn't think we, from a game plan scouting perspective, were as dialed in as we probably needed to be, but still played okay, and then really started to settle in the second quarter. So felt good with what I think it was a 12-point lead at half, and then that third quarter was fantastic, and us at our best, and played fast and got some turnovers and hit shots and got to the rim and got him in a little foul trouble, and just stayed aggressive, and it took a couple runs, but that got the separation we needed, and then obviously the fourth quarter wasn't great, but it didn't matter really at that point. So yeah, happy for the group. Fastest team I guess in program history to get to 20 wins, so that's remarkable in our first year. So it means something, but that's just we'll worry about that when the season's over now, and move forward. I thought Kyle Watson was phenomenal again tonight. She's played great for us. I've called her the glue, and she just did everything again, but got her career high along the way. Quinterly was efficient and did JJ things. Jordan didn't score it great, but her line was pretty good too. Just did a little bit of everything, and I thought Kylie Blackston's been pretty good here lately. She had another good night. Lauren got to double figures, so we tried to get everybody to score. We just didn't quite get Tirza some points, but it was good to have her back tonight. That was her first action in quite some time. So full strength for us now, I hope, moving forward. We've got an off day tomorrow, which comes at a great time because we need it, and then we'll regroup and get ready for Saturday. But solid win, playing well here in the Coliseum, so just keep moving forward.
Ever since your loss at Iowa State, it seems like you all have just been playing your best basketball. What can you say about that?
Yeah, we've played well in spurts. I still think we can get better. Some of our execution on both ends at times just almost baffles me a little bit on some of our rotations on defense and some of the silliness that we do on offense. So I don't want this to be the best we play. I don't think it will be. I think we still have some levels we can get to. But yeah, we survived some of the schedule. We were on the road a little bit, played a few at home in there, had the one long trip, and so we needed it. And now, yeah, we get the top 25 matchup coming up Saturday, so that will be a difficult challenge, but one that I think we're ready for and that we need. But yeah, and all these teams, they just play so different, and that's the beauty of a conference is everybody has a different style and you prepare differently. Our kids are preparing the right way and taking care of themselves, and then when we get on the court, they have a joy about them still, that they just really enjoy being around each other, and it's fun to see.
Coach, when you judge the performance of your offense, I think 80 of your 82 points came either in the paint, at the free throw line, or from three. How do you judge that when you're kind of somewhat efficient or analytically pleasing in that sense when you're doing it that way?
Yeah, no, our analytic people are going to like that that distribution. They're stay away from those mid-range jumpers. I'm not anti that necessarily. When you have like a JJ and some kids that are pretty good at it, you got to let them go. But yeah, no, that's always the goal, right? I mean, the goal is always rim, free throws, and threes. Rim, free throws, and threes. There's certain times to take the mid-range, but if not, then continue to do that. And yeah, we wanted to put some pressure on the rim and wanted to attack a little bit. But I thought we moved the ball a little bit better tonight too via the pass, and then that could set up the drive. And assists got up to whatever that is, 16, I think, 16 assists. So still maybe a couple lower than we would like, but better than what it's been.
Coach, you've talked about slow starts in the first quarter, third quarter. Tonight looked like maybe that first minute or two might have been on that same pattern. What's it take to come out of the gates rolling and maybe efficient with that first set on offense?
Well, that first set was awful. So I'm making some adjustments there. I told the staff on that one. But our first quarters actually have been pretty good. That's where we've dominated people. We had the 2 scoreless quarters, and we've gotten after people early outside of our first possession. So we've got to be a little better in that first possession, and that's probably on me as much as it is them. But outside of that, no, our first quarters, I think, if you look throughout the year, is our best margin is in the first quarter. It's the third quarters that haven't been as good as I wanted them to be, and this was our best third quarter probably of the season.
Coach, traveling out to Provo, getting the close win out there, and then coming back and having a performance like this, I mean, it's no easy task. Do you think now going to Waco to face a good Baylor team after this. Do you think this might be one of the tougher parts of the season, tougher 3-game stretches?
Yeah, I think so. I was worried about the trip to Provo and to play BYU there because they were so good on their home court, and and we found a way to win that one. And I think we had all sorts of travel issues getting back and the time we got back. So then I got really kind of worried about this one and how we would come out of the gates, and we prepared just a little bit differently because of the late arrivals, so we didn't get to do much 2 days ago at all. It was much more of just film and some walkthrough and then let them go home and sleep and let the coaches sleep. So I was a little worried about how we might come out in this game, so that might have had something to do with the start a little bit. But yeah, now the schedule, you're going to play a ranked team, so we haven't played one, I guess, since Texas. I think Iowa State was ranked at one point, but not when we played them. So it gets a little more difficult for sure. But it's Big 12 play, every team is good. It's hard to win on the road. You got to protect your home court, and we'll see if we can go do something special on the road Saturday.
Coach, you mentioned the start, the history that comes with it. You've done a pretty good job all year of just staying focused on the next step. But, all things considered, new guy coming in, new program, this, that. Has any of this surprised you at all as far as how this has gone from point A to, I guess, what would be point B now?
Yeah, to some degree, probably. But, I'm trying to toot my own horn. But if
Sure.
you look back at my career, we've had some success and we've set all sorts of records. And I think at every place I've been, we have the record for the most wins in school history. So that's not something that's unfamiliar for me. Now, doing it in year one, and you're the third coach in 3 years.
Right.
And, there was unknown to that, had no idea, and I thought we had a chance to be pretty good. I keep reminding people this was an NCAA tournament team a year ago.
Sure.
4 of those starters are back, so it was there was some talent. We infused a little bit of talent. We survived the injuries and those types of things. So, some things, and we've had some breaks go our way, but kids bought in. They fit the style that we like, and I think that's the beauty of it. It's just, and I've said this a lot, I'm just kind of almost going along with it a little bit. I don't know. I haven't been to some of these places. I haven't played here. I don't know how we travel. I don't know any of that stuff, and I don't care.
Right.
I just keep trucking and let Kayla does all of our operation stuff. She just tells me when I'm supposed to be plations, and there's been a beauty to that, honestly, because I haven't had that in a long time in my career. And this team has taught me a lot. There was times early on I wanted more from them, because we're such flatliners and kind of even keel, and I'd fight them in practice a little bit and think we practice terrible, and then go out and play really well. And without them saying, "Coach, relax," they're basically saying, "Coach, relax, we got you." And so, it's been fun, and I keep saying beauty to it, but it's been refreshing because it's not always the case as a basketball coach.
Talking about those unknowns, how do you benefit from the unknown when you just don't know what Provo's like, what traveling to Texas twice in a year is like? How does that kind of help you just settle in, I guess?
Yeah, well, I guess my mind doesn't wander to all those other things that, once you've been there, or I don't have games played. I haven't played at BYU. So now when we go back to BYU, my mind will go back to that game that we had a year ago or 2 years ago, and then you replay all of those types of things. So the time spent on some of those things that you can't control anyway, I'm just not spending time on. So my focus is just my group and how we get better, and I prepare here just like I've prepared at every other stop, whether I was a D2 guy or a mid-major guy. I don't treat it any different, and we prepare the same way and treat our kids the same way, and let them be themselves, and there's a lot of value to that, and these kids take pride in that. And so it's just fit. It's been a great fit. That's what it is probably as much as anything. Maybe even answer your question is just that Mark Kellogg fits. It fits my personality. These players fit my personality. They fit the way we play. It's been a great marriage.
Back to the BYU game real quick. Obviously college athletics are changing. The face of athletics are changing. What's it like to, 4 or 5 hour trip to play a conference game? What was that experience like? Because that's going to probably be, more of that as the,
Yeah, I'm glad it's behind us. I'm glad we don't have to do it again.
Well, sure, right.
It's long. I don't know if I'll get on that whole tangent right now, or this is the time to do that.
Right.
We can certainly have that conversation, but it's out. I'm not making that decision. We can talk to Ren Baker, and you can go ask him those types of things in the ADs, because they're not asking Mark Kellogg very often, or wanting a ton of my input. But it's a long way to go,
Yeah.
without question, and it's a quick turnaround. And now we're playing again on a Tuesday. When we got back at, I think I rolled into my house at 5:36 on Sunday morning. And then you're trying to prepare, and and then you're getting up the next day and doing the same thing, and you're trying to be a dad. And I'm taking my kids to school at 6:55. After you got back at 5:36 the night before. I mean, that's the life stuff that people don't realize.
Right,
And these
right.
student athletes are asked to get up and go to school on Monday when they got back at 5:36 and perform on the court and in the classroom and stay healthy. And we're fortunate because we get to travel pretty well
Yeah.
and efficiently. But when you get delays like that and you're crossing 2 time zones, so for us we're
You're losing 2 hours.
we played at 4 o'clock on a Saturday over there, which is 6 o'clock here. And I mean, it was a lot, but that's what makes this win probably even sweeter today, to know that we survived all of that and the travel to get back home and regroup and find a way to win this one. But I don't know how we're going to manage all of this, to be honest, with all the leagues and the travel. It's a lot to ask.
Coach, kind of along those lines, you guys have won 7 in a row now, and if you look at the bigger picture, this was the portion of your schedule where you guys had games that you would need to win in order to compete for a Big 12 regular season title. Is there something to be said about accomplishing that feat?
Yeah, it was. This was the part of the schedule we had looked at and identified as, if we want to make some noise, we need to get through this, in a nice fashion. I don't know if it was going to be 7 in a row in a league. I don't think you ever think you're going to win 7 in a row in the Big 12 necessarily. But we thought we needed to make some noise now to kind of give us a chance, to be in the hunt late, which we put ourselves obviously in that situation and in that position. But it can change in a hurry too, and I'm not naive to that. I know how quickly it can change, and so again, you just kind of enjoy it, let them celebrate it a little bit, and then get to the next one, because you don't want one loss to turn into multiple losses, which it can. But for us, it's been 7 in a row, and we're playing with confidence, and we'll go into Baylor with something to prove.
Coach, Kaya can obviously make a pretty big impact without, I guess, eye-opening statistics, but just curious when she does kind of give you that offensive production along with 8 rebounds, the numbers jump out a little more. What does it do for this team as a whole?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Kaya or anybody. What we've really tried to talk about is really getting a 4th scorer. So one of the goals on the board before the game was I wanted 4 in double figures. For most nights, JJ, Lauren, and Jordan give you the 3. And then if one of them doesn't play as well as they're supposed to, then we need somebody to step up. And so whether that's Kylie or Kaya or anybody off the bench, that's important to us. And so Kaya being aggressive, she's again sometimes reluctant to shoot. And there's been times this year I've asked her and kind of like, hey, I need you to be really aggressive today. And maybe that's even in practice, and it makes her completely uncomfortable because that's not really what she is. She wants the game to come to her. She's free flowing in the way she plays, the way she thinks. Her personality is like that too. But we need her to be, and we're much better when she's aggressive like she was tonight. And would she make 2 or 3 threes, I think? 3 for 5, and she's an efficient player and does all the other stuff defensively and covers up so many mistakes. But we just need that 4th scorer if we can.
It seems like every night, JJ, she'll put up 19 plus, and it's a quiet 19. What can you say about that to how it attests to your team?
Yeah, no, it's the kids just playing really, really, really well. And you look up and, she's got 19, 20, 21, something like that. Even at BYU, I told her after the game, I don't even know if you played well. I'm not even sure you did. But obviously you did. You had 19 points and 5 assists, but I just watched you, and I don't know that I even really thought that. And then again tonight, at one point, I was like, what's JJ got? Because I don't really ever look at the stats. And I asked one of the assistants, they're like, oh, she got 20. I was like, 20? She got 20 again? And then you just rack it up, though, and it's layups here and layup there, and then she hits a 3, and then something else, gets to the free throw line 2 or 4 times a game, that type of stuff. And in a hurry, she can get points in a hurry, and but we need it, and that's our go-to kid. And so as long as she's scoring, we'll feed off of her a little bit, and then that just opens up the floor for everybody else.
You talk about her being your go-to kid. Do you sense any type of pressure creeping in with you guys having the success and kind of the weight of this team kind of being on her shoulders?
Not this team. They're too cool, and I don't mean it like a cool way. They're just so even keel. Nothing gets them too high, nothing really gets them too low. They just kind of stay the course, and I have seen nothing of it. And again, we don't talk about it a ton either. We don't talk about some of the rankings and standings very often. We bring it up briefly every once in a while, but other than that, it's just keep trucking, just keep on trucking, and they just want to be coached and taught, and that's all we keep doing.
How refreshing is that to be involved with a group of athletes in today's day of NIL and this and that, to have a group that isn't, reading the headlines, and egos, and like you say, they're just even killed.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, this group is special. This is as fun as I've had coaching, and I mean, I've won a lot of games, so it's
Right.
not just because we're 20-2 right now. It's just because of the character and the kids we have, and they don't care. They don't care really. I mean, some of them do, and they want to get their points and things like that, but they don't really care. They'll share it and they'll pass it, and they understand the more we move it, the better off our entire team is. So yeah, it's an unselfish group. They're easy. They're low maintenance in such a great way. They get along. Really fun to be around. Easy to be around.
Was there a moment when that mentality of theirs really stood out to you for the first time? Like, how did you notice that?
Yeah, no, I don't know that I have just one. I think it's just built up over games and going through these experiences with them. So I've said many times up here, every time we play, I get more information about our team, most of the time in a good way, sometimes obviously in a bad way too, but they just keep responding, and whether that's timeouts, adversity hits, but at the same time, I want them to play with that joy and, and have fun around each other. And, I told them before the game, we only got 4 games at home left this year. Like, that's the last time this group, 4 more times we'll play together in here, and take advantage of that and relish it and enjoy it. And for the next 2 hours, go get lost in the game was my message. Just go get lost. Like, go have fun. This is what we all enjoy doing, and we're gonna go compete and play hard and get lost in the game, and we certainly did that.
Thanks, everyone.